It was lunchtime in the school cafeteria. Kids were laughing, trays were clattering, and the room buzzed with noise. A boy named James sat down and opened his lunch bag. Just like always, his mom had packed more food than he could ever eat. James smiled to himself. Mom always packs too much, he thought. He looked around the cafeteria. That's when he noticed a girl sitting alone. Her tray was completely empty. James stood up, walked over, and gently placed half of his lunch in front of her. The girl looked at the food, then she looked at him. "I don't need your pity," she said quietly. James pulled out the chair and sat across from her. "Good," he replied calmly. "Because I'm not giving you pity, I'm just sharing. Eat." The girl stared at him for a moment, then slowly she started eating. The next day, James came back. Again, his mom had packed enough for two. Again, he walked over and placed half in front of the girl. And the day after that, and the day after that. Every single day, without fail. One afternoon, the girl finally spoke. "My dad lost his job," she said softly. She paused, staring down at the table. "Some days, there's just nothing at home to eat." Her voice trembled. "I never wanted anyone to know." James didn't ask questions. He simply pushed the food closer to her. "By the way," he said gently, "I'm James." The girl looked up. Olivia. From that day on, James kept coming, every single day. Then one Monday, Olivia wasn't there. James sat down with 2 portions of lunch, but the seat across from him stayed empty. The next day, she still wasn't there. And after that, she never came back. James never found out what happened to her. 15 years later, James walked into a tall downtown office building. He wore a dress shirt and held a resume in his hand. He had been searching for a job for 8 long months. This interview was his last real chance. He answered every question, shook hands, then walked out, unsure if it had been enough. He stepped into the elevator alone. His eyes were red. He was trying his best to hold himself together. Just as the doors were closing, a woman stepped inside. She glanced at him, then looked again. "Did you go to Jefferson High School?" she asked. James slowly lifted his head. The woman spoke softly. "You used to put food in front of me every day and say your mom always packed too much." James stared at her in disbelief. She took a breath. "I was the girl with the empty tray," James whispered. "Olivia." Her eyes filled with tears immediately. "My mom relocated us suddenly," she said. "I never got to say goodbye, and I never got to say thank you." The elevator doors opened. She turned to him. "Come with me." She walked him back through the building, past the reception desk, past the waiting room full of job candidates, all the way to the corner office at the end of the hall. She picked up the phone. "Can everyone please come to the main conference room right now?" Within minutes, her entire staff stood in the room. James stood beside her, confused. Olivia looked at the team and said, "This man put food in front of me every single day when my family had nothing. He never made me feel ashamed. He never told anyone." She turned toward James. Then she smiled. "Effective today. You're hired, James." James stood there completely speechless. Olivia laughed softly and said, "And by the way, I packed extra lunch today." James laughed and cried at the same time, right there in front of everyone. Because life has a quiet rule. What you give to someone in their darkest moment has a way of finding you again when you need it most. Kindness never disappears. It always finds its way back.